As always, we've scoured the internet to bring you the most exciting and engaging games that won't cost you a dime to play. Welcome to our list of the top 10 free games for April 2023. Whether you're a fan of action-packed shooters, immersive RPGs, or brain-teasing puzzles, there's something on this list for you. So without further ado, let's dive into our selection of the best free games available this month. Starting off at number 10, we have Explorer Ellen 3D. This is an adventure game where you play as Ellen, a brave and determined adventurer who embarks on a dangerous journey to explore a planet filled with ferocious monsters. Her ultimate goal is to find and rescue her beloved sister Leah, who was captured by one of the most feared creatures on the planet. Armed with her trusty weapons and a strong will, Ellen faces countless obstacles and challenges along the way, including treacherous terrains and deadly traps. Despite the many dangers that lie ahead, Ellen remains resolute and determined to save her sister no matter what the cost. With her courage and strength, Ellen sets out on a thrilling adventure that will test her limits and push her to the very edge of her abilities. Fight monsters, solve complex puzzles, explore mysterious locations, and have fun with beautiful graphics and sound. Breaking into number 9, we have Dunk City Dynasty. This is a mobile street ball simulator on a mobile platform. Players will have to assemble their team of basketball players to participate in street matches. Especially for this, the developers have relied on cartoon design and special effects. Players will be trained where they will learn how to interact with basketball bots and do a slam dunk. Only despite the presence of manual control and a large number of actions for attacking or defending the ring, it is basically impossible to influence the outcome of the match. This is noticeable already at the early stages and will only get worse. The game has several modes, plus the ability to train athletes, so that they show the best result. I am glad that the developers have added a voiceover commentator, and the gameplay itself does not seem to be drawn out. Coming in at number 8, we have Armed Conflict. Armed Conflict is a first-person shooter on mobile. The developers promise that players from all over the world will face off in a shootout. Armed Conflict can become a competitor to Counter-Strike Mobile and Standoff 2. The game has excellent graphics, an intuitive interface, and the ability to shoot from the hip, adjust the body kit, and quickly destroy the enemy. Some maps offer an Arabic setting that players remember from Dust 2. I'm glad that you can adjust the body kit point by choosing a silencer, sight, clip, caliber, and more. Also, skin is put on the weapon and the operative. They have different levels of rarity. The developers also hold weekly clan tournaments. Well, programmers will be able to customize the management for themselves. Next up at number 7, we have Ski Challenge. This is a ski jumping simulator with simple controls, a realistic physics model, and nice graphics. In this game, you have to become a professional skier, and you will compete with other players around the world. Having started the game, you have to select and configure your athlete and then make several training jumps. Learn the basics of control, which is extremely simple and will require only attention and reaction speed from you. The distance of the jump will depend on timely pressing. After that, you can choose one of the available modes and try your hand at a career or in individual competitions. In addition, the game has a full-fledged multiplayer mode in which you can compete with friends. If you love extreme winter sports, then Ski Challenge will definitely appeal to you. Down to number 6, we have Sword Fantasy. Sword Fantasy is a mobile MMORPG in which you have about 7 classes to choose from, plus simple customization with a selection of presets. The gameplay is isometric and the world is divided into locations with loading. There is no English in the game, so the plot will be difficult to understand. But mostly, the heroes will jump between floating islands and fight villains, so it's okay. One of the advantages of Sword Fantasy is PvP in the 700 by 700 people format. Guilds will be able to participate in it. Also, players will be able to get into boss raids. Also, the game does not force you to turn on auto control on the move, but on the contrary, gives only a manual option. So fights with bosses and video installations are provided. Moving on to number 5, we have MMA Manager 2. This is a management game where you have to control and coordinate your own MMA fighters. To do this, you will go about setting each fighter's basic characteristics while acquiring new gyms and upping their training. This is the only way you can become a successful leader in this competition. The 3D graphics make each fight highly realistic when watching. Although your fighters will move automatically, you can choose each boxer's offense and defense moves. This lets you manage the opponent's throws to avoid defeat in the ring. As your budget grows, you can also expand your training center network, meaning that you can add more fighters to your team to get more chances of topping the world ranking. The opponents won't make things easy for you, and if you want to rack up the wins, you should plan elaborate strategies. Next up at number 4, we have Banana Kong 2. Banana Kong 2 is a platform game where you play as a monkey that has to jump, run, bounce, and hang from vines to escape from the jungle on his way to the North Pole. In this second installment, there are new gameplay options and better graphics. This installment is based on the same concept as the first, but its infinite race system is better than ever, thanks to totally new challenges. In each mission, you'll need to collect bananas and golden Kong coins to buy improvements, hats, and all the other items available in the store. With these items, you can customize your monkey and turn him into the Jungle King. Each race you compete in will be totally different from the rest. If you run into a stone or a plant with spikes, the mission ends, and you'll have to start from the beginning. Coming in at number 3, we have Cosmic Crackdown. This is a space-themed shooter game where players take on the role of a hero tasked with defending the Earth from an alien invasion. As players progress through various levels, they must navigate through obstacles, defeat enemy spaceships, turrets, and bosses along the way, and collect power-ups to gain temporary boosts. The gameplay is challenging and requires players to use strategy and skill to defeat the enemies and progress through the levels. The bosses at the end of each level are especially difficult, with unique attacks and patterns that the player must learn to defeat. The game features a variety of environments from cityscapes to outer space, each with its own unique challenges and enemies. The graphics are stunning, and the soundtrack is an energetic mix of electronic and orchestral music. Next up at number 2, we have Dead Wasteland. Dead Wasteland is an adventure survival simulator in the middle of an endless desert. The plot of the game tells about a world in which nuclear weapons were used. This affected not only the nature and frequency of the air, but also the appearance of various kinds of diseases, which eventually resulted in mutants, zombies, and other infections. You have to play for a girl who managed to survive the use of nuclear weapons, and now she has to defend everything that she has left. In a small settlement in the middle of the desert, a few friends found supplies of food, weapons, and raw materials. Sooner or later, the supplies will run out, and you will have to go explore the vast lands filled with the dead, robots, and looters. Arm yourself with firearms, grenades, and first aid kits, and do not forget about the backpack, where the found provisions will be stored. And finally, at number 1, we have Dawnlands. The new open-world multiplayer RPG called Dawnlands is recently released on Android. The game used to be called New Dawn, offer awesome graphics with cool gameplay with action RPG and survival elements to it. You may explore in Dawnlands with tons of numerous biomes, relics, and riddles that dot the landscape. A land that has lain dormant for ages awaits your awakening, and all fresh tales await your pen. You must strive to survive when everything else has perished. Just abundant natural resources will remain. What matters is how they are utilized. Start from scratch and learn to survive on your own. Here, you can build and collect all the necessary resources to create and construct your dream home. Challenge potential threats, do not readily relinquish their territories. And there you have it, our top 10 free games for April 2023. Hope you found some new games to add to your collection and have a blast playing them. And if you want to stay up to date on the latest and greatest free games, be sure to keep checking back with us for more weekly lists. Happy gaming!